Heaven does not celebrate a war that is still happening. 3 nights ago, yours ended, and no one on earth was told. Chosen one, sit with that sentence for a moment before you scroll past it. You did the impossible. The battle you have been carrying, the one that had no visible way through, is over. Not almost over. Over. And yet right now, in your body, there is a tightness that has lived in your shoulders so long you stopped noticing it. A low hum of readiness that never fully switches off, even in sleep. That tightness is not weakness. It is the last soldier still standing guard over a war already won. This is not a message asking you to keep fighting harder. This is the opposite. This is the announcement arriving late, the way good news often does, after the danger has already passed and the body has not caught up yet. Stay through the next few minutes, because 3 things become available to you here that will not be repeated the same way twice. First, you will understand exactly why you still feel braced for a blow that will not come, and why that is unfinished release, not paranoia. Second, you will receive the exact reframe heaven uses to move a person from fighter to one who is honored, so you can finally stand down without feeling like you are losing your edge. Third, you will be shown the one piece still required to move from surviving the war to receiving what the war was fought for. Because winning it and receiving it are 2 different thresholds, and most stop 1 step short of the second. If your shoulders just dropped even slightly, reading that was not coincidence, that was recognition. Something in you already knew the verdict before this message said it out loud. So before we go further, prove that you are still standing. Comment the words, "I am chosen, so heaven sees you," say it back, and let us look at exactly what this victory cost you, and exactly what it is finally handing back. And if heaven could put what happened over you into a single sentence right now, it would not be complicated. It would simply be this: it is finished, and it is well done. Here is the strange part. Almost no one tells you about winning an impossible battle. The moment the threat ends is rarely the moment relief arrives. There is usually a gap between the war actually ending and the body finally believing it. You have most likely been living inside that gap longer than you realize, still scanning for danger that left a long time ago. Think about the last few months of your life honestly for a moment. Has there been a season lately where you found yourself waiting for something to go wrong? Even on the good days, a quiet background bracing, like relief itself, felt unsafe to fully trust. If that sounds familiar, you are not broken and you are not paranoid. You are a person whose body has not yet been told, in a language it can actually accept, that the fight it trained so hard for is finished. That is the first sign that you are living in the gap between victory and rest, still bracing for a blow that already came and went. There is a second sign, quieter than the first, and it shows up in exactly how you respond whenever someone tells you to just relax now. Someone says the simple words, "just relax," and something in you tightens instead of loosens. Maybe you laugh it off. Maybe you feel a flash of irritation you cannot fully explain. That reaction is not rudeness. It is a nervous system that equates stillness with danger, because for a long season, stillness genuinely was dangerous, and no one has told it otherwise yet. The third sign is busyness that outlives its purpose. You keep filling hours that no longer need filling, because an empty hour leaves space for the old alarm to start ringing again. Motion has become a way of avoiding a silence you have not yet learned is safe. You call it discipline sometimes. Underneath it, it is often just fear wearing a productive outfit. The fourth sign is harder to admit. When something good arrives without a fight attached to it, a part of you almost distrusts it. You are so used to earning every good thing through struggle that ease itself feels suspicious, like it must be a setup for the next blow. You brace for the invoice that never comes. The fifth sign is the quiet replay. Late at night, or in the in-between moments of an ordinary day, you find yourself reviewing the battle again, checking the story for holes, making sure it really is finished. Chosen one, that replay is not vigilance, keeping you safe anymore. It is grief looking for permission to close the file. Here is the truth underneath all 5 signs, and it is the center of everything that follows. Winning an impossible war does not automatically teach a person how to rest inside the win. Surviving the fight and inhabiting the victory are 2 entirely different skills, and almost nobody is ever taught the second one. You were trained, tested, and stretched for combat. Nobody trained you for what happens on the day the fighting actually stops. Somewhere along the way, many of us were quietly taught that resting after a battle means letting your guard down. That teaching was never from heaven. It came from fear, dressed as wisdom, and has kept good, faithful, exhausted people fighting wars that ended long ago. That gap between surviving and resting is not a character flaw. It is simply an untrained space, and untrained spaces can be trained, the same way any skill can be trained once it is finally named. Hold on to that one sentence, because it is the center of everything this message walks through from here. If even one of those 5 signs described you exactly, comment the word Amen right now, so this message knows it found the right person, and so we can go together into exactly why your body still runs old orders from a war. Heaven has already closed the file on, because there is a specific, nameable reason your body has not caught the news yet. And it is not a mystery, and it is not a flaw in your faith. It has a shape, and once you see it clearly, you will start recognizing it everywhere in your own story, including in moments you never connected to this before now. It shows up in David long before it shows up in you, which is exactly why his story is the one worth sitting inside for the next few minutes, because what happened to him after his own impossible battle explains almost exactly what is happening in you right now. Think about David for a moment, standing in the valley across from a giant that every trained soldier in Israel refused to face. He did the impossible that day, alone, with nothing but a sling and a name he trusted more than his own strength. Goliath fell. The war, that day, was over. But here is the part almost nobody teaches from that story. David did not go back to guarding sheep, the same man who left them. He was anointed for a throne before that battle. And yet it took the entire aftermath, the honor, the songs written about him, the years that followed, for him to grow into a man who could sit in what he had won without flinching. The giant falling was one event. Becoming a person who could carry a kingdom in peace was a different, longer process. That is exactly the pattern sitting underneath your own life right now. The impossible thing already fell. What has not finished happening yet is the second part. The part where the very system inside you that was built for combat gets repatterned into a system that can hold rest without treating rest as a threat. We call this the victor's switch. Not a metaphor, a real, specific shift. The same wiring that once kept you alert enough to survive an impossible war, redirected instead into the capacity to actually live inside the victory it won. Nobody hands this to you automatically the moment the battle ends. It has to be activated on purpose, the same way a soldier coming home has to be walked, gently and deliberately, back into peacetime living. You are not weak for still feeling like a fighter. You are simply not yet switched. That is the whole difference, and it changes everything about how you move from here. Sit with this for a moment. You are not still at war. You are still wired for one. Read that again, because those are 2 very different problems, and only one of them is actually true about you anymore. Picture an ordinary Tuesday on the other side of that switch. You wake up, and the first thought is not a scan for what might be wrong. Your shoulders sit low without you forcing them to. A blessing arrives, and instead of bracing, you simply say thank you and let it land. That is what David, sitting in his own hall, years after the valley, actually looked like, and it is available on this side of your own switch too. Now here is the part I have to be honest with you about, because heaven does not build fear into good news. There is a specific reason so many chosen ones stay stuck in the gap between winning and receiving, and it involves a tool, quiet and unlikely, that a small team spent years studying without realizing at first exactly whose war it would end up finishing. I am not going to explain what that tool is yet. Sit with the question for a moment instead. What would it actually feel like? In your own body, on your own ordinary Tuesday, the very first morning you woke up, already switched. If you are still with me, comment the word receive right now, because that word is the whole hinge of what comes next, the difference between having won and actually holding what you won. There is a second thing that keeps a victory from becoming a rest, and it is different from the switch we just named. It shows up as a very specific fear, one so common among people who have actually won something real that it deserves its own name. It sounds like this inside your own head. If I stop now, I will lose my edge. If I fully relax, I will get caught off guard again. Chosen one. That fear has a name, and the name is success terror. The quiet dread of stopping even after winning, because stopping has been mistaken for losing vigilance. Here is what nobody told you about that fear. It did not appear because you are ungrateful or unfaithful. It appeared because staying alert genuinely kept you alive for a long season, and a system that learns that lesson does not unlearn it just because the danger left. Go back to David one more time, because this is the part of his story most people skip entirely. After Goliath fell, David still had years ahead of him, where old enemies tried to convince him the war was not really finished, where he was hunted by a jealous king, even after the giant was long dead. And yet the record of his life shows a man who learned, slowly, to receive honor without flinching away from it, to sit in a hall built for him without constantly checking the exits. That did not happen automatically the day Goliath hit the ground. It happened because David let himself be led into it, piece by piece. We call this second piece the receiving gate. Winning opens the door. The receiving gate is what actually lets you walk through it and stay. Most people stop right at the doorway, still standing in fighter posture, mistaking the doorway itself for the whole reward. Close your eyes for a moment, if you safely can. Picture the exact weight you have been carrying in your chest. Now, picture setting it down gently, the way you would set down something heavy after finally reaching the place it was always meant to go. Notice what changes in your breathing the moment it leaves your hands. That image is not decoration. It is a rehearsal, a small practice run for what your whole nervous system is being invited into. And it points directly at a strange kind of tension that is worth sitting with for a moment. You already have permission. You are still waiting for it to feel true. Both of those sentences are describing you right now, and only one of them has to keep being true for much longer. Success terror rarely announces itself loudly. Most often it hides inside small, ordinary decisions, the extra task you did not need to take on, the apology you offer for resting, the way you downplay the victory itself when someone asks how you are doing. None of that makes you dishonest. It simply means the receiving gate has not fully opened yet, and it is allowed to open slowly. If this message has already named something true in your own life, consider staying close to this channel, so the next announcement heaven has for you does not pass by unnoticed the way earlier ones might have. There is one more piece waiting on the other side of that gate that this message has not shown you yet, something that has quietly changed how thousands of people finally stopped standing in the doorway of their own victory and started actually living inside it. It involves a discovery that, strangely enough, came out of a laboratory, not a sanctuary, and yet lines up with everything heaven has already been trying to tell your body. It is coming, and it is closer than you think. So let me make this simple, because you deserve plain language after everything unpacked so far. Here is the why. Your body kept fighting after the war ended, because it was never given a clear, embodied signal. The danger was over, only a mental one. Here is the what. What you need is not more willpower, but a way to physically switch a combat-trained system into a receiving one, the way a soldier coming home needs an actual process to stand down. Here is the who. This is for the chosen one who already did the hard part, who already fought and won, and is simply still waiting for permission to feel it. You have carried enough. You have proven enough. What is left is not another battle. It is a door already standing open. A small group of neuroscientists, led by a doctor in New York, who has spent 20 years studying the gap between surviving stress and recovering from it, found something most had never connected before. The body has a switch. A woman from California, a nurse who had survived more in a decade than most survive in a lifetime, said life had started to feel like something happening to her. Her body permanently braced. After 10 days, something opened, and her marriage and her sleep softened. A man from Texas, raising 2 kids, described praying and feeling like the words hit a wall. 2 weeks in, his mind felt like it was running on full capacity again, the fog gone. What that team built, out of 20 years of clinical work, is a short daily audio sequence, 8 minutes, walking the brain through the same whole brain activation process used in clinical settings, compressed for daily use. They call it the Genius Switch. It is not a meditation app, not a mood playlist. It works through neural sync technology, hemisphere synchronization, tracing back to Dr. Roger Sperry, who won a Nobel Prize in 1981 for proving what changes when both halves of the brain communicate again. The Genius Switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has stayed sincere, done the work, and is ready to stop treating the fog as a character flaw instead of an untrained transition. In person, this kind of work through a specialist can run $300 an hour, and home machines for it have run as high as $7,000. This program was priced at $49. Today, on this page only, it sits at $39, 10 off. Alongside it, 4 free additions: a guided visualization, a smart grocery guide naming foods linked to brain fog with real savings tips, a classic manifestation book over 100 years old, and a 5 habits printable, all backed by a full, no conditions, money-back guarantee, unlimited listens, alongside more than 18,400 people who already walked through this door. Provision already placed near you, waiting on the other side of this door, only becomes visible once you are in the synchronized state to receive it. Waiting does not protect that provision. It simply delays the day you see what has been sitting there. Similar sounding tracks exist elsewhere, using a similar name. Those do not carry the real technology inside them. The verified version lives only on the official page, linked in the description and the pinned comment. If your spirit is resonating with what you just heard, that link is where to go, in the description and the pinned comment. This tool does not replace God, and was never meant to. It does not replace obedience, prayer, or the work you have already put in across every season that led here. What it does is simpler and smaller than that, and also more practical. It restores the receiver, so that what God has already been doing in your life finally has a clearer, quieter channel to actually land in, instead of arriving and finding the door still braced shut from the inside. And if what was described is not for you right now, that path still holds whenever you are ready. Before we close, do one more thing with me, right where you are. Let your hands rest open on your lap, palms up, instead of clenched. That is the instruction, simple as it sounds, and simple is exactly what your nervous system needs right now. Now picture the battlefield behind you. Not gone, just behind you. The way David eventually looked back at a valley he no longer had to stand in every day. See yourself walking away from that field, unhurried, because nothing there is chasing you anymore. Now reframe what that walking away means. It is not abandoning your post. It is heaven relieving you of a post that no longer exists. You are not leaving your watch. Your watch already ended, and someone far more capable than you is standing it now. Let that land in your body, not just your mind. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel your shoulders drop an inch further. Place one hand over your chest, and simply notice it is still beating. Steady, unafraid, already home. That sensation is the switch beginning to turn, quietly, without effort. Take a breath and simply be grateful, not for the war, but that you were the kind of person who could carry it and still be standing here, soft enough to receive these words. If watching all the way to this point cost you something, let that be evidence of how much this message mattered, and consider leaving a small mark of support on it before you go. There is very likely someone else in your life carrying this same silent exhaustion right now, still guarding a war that already ended without them noticing. Picture their face for a moment. Maybe it is someone who keeps insisting they are fine while quietly running on empty. Send this exact message to that person now, as the same announcement you just received, carried forward into their hands, because today may be the day that changes. Before the final words, let something go, out loud if you can, quietly if you cannot. One release for every mile this war actually cost you. Release the fear that rest means losing your edge. Release the guilt for finally exhaling. Release the habit of checking exits in rooms that are already safe. Release the need to keep proving the battle again and again to an audience that already left the room. Release the voice that called stopping weakness when it was never anything but wisdom. Release the years spent bracing for a blow that already landed and passed. Release the belief that heaven is still waiting to see if you deserve this, because that question was already settled long before tonight. Release the quiet fear that someone, somewhere, is still keeping score. Release, finally, the last soldier still standing guard over a field that has long since gone quiet. Hear this now, plainly, together, the way it was always meant to be said, because some things become truer the moment they are declared out loud, instead of only believed in silence. We are the ones who did not break when breaking would have been so easy to excuse. We are the ones heaven already crowned before anyone on earth thought to look our way. We are the ones finally allowed, fully and without condition, to rest. Carry that declaration with you tomorrow morning the way you once carried the weight of the battle, except this time let it feel light, because this one was never meant to be fought, only spoken and believed. Let it be the one sentence from tonight that stays with you longer than any other. So before the seal is set on everything that has been said here, comment the words, "I receive now," simply and honestly, as your own answer back to heaven. It is finished, and it is well. Before you go, if anything in this message found you exactly where you actually are tonight, leave that mark of support behind on your way out, so the next chosen one walking this same road finds it faster than you did, and stays a little longer for the next announcement after this one.